In 2023, China lost more weddings in a single year than the entire population of Hong Kong. 7 million marriages gone. And not just in China, America, Japan, India, France, Canada, Germany, Australia. Every major economy on earth stopped getting married at the same time. And no war caused this, no plague caused this, and governments have spent hundreds of billions of dollars trying to stop it, and still they failed. Something is not right. And the part I could not get out of my head is this: 69% of the people this is happening to still want to get married. And the 2/3 of them will never get there. Not because they said no, but because they kept saying not yet. Until this not yet became never. And I kept coming back to this one question: why is marriage collapsing globally? Every major economy at the same time, with nothing in common, and no single explanation covers all of it. So I decided to look into it, and what I found was not what I expected. In 1990, in the world's wealthiest countries, between 5 and 7 couples were getting married for every 1,000 people every year. Today, that number is 4. So the wealthiest countries on earth lost nearly half their weddings in the last 30 years. And I, kept staring at it and thinking that this could not be right. But it is. In China, in 2013, they witnessed 13.5 million marriages, the highest ever counted. This number went to 6 million in 2024. In America, in 1960, 72% of adults were married. Today, that number is 47%, less than half. And this is for the first time in their entire recorded history of the United States Census. And then I found one of the bizarre facts that is happening in India. When 97% of women were married by age 30 for centuries, and one national survey found that 42% of young Indians aged between 26 and 40 do not want to get married. Think about it. This is not a statistic. That is a signal. And here's what the marriage collapse is actually producing. South Korea's birth rate is 0.72. That's the lowest ever recorded for any country in human history. And that is not a country declining. That is a country doing the mathematics of its own disappearance. So the collapse is real. In fact, I recently created a video on the same topic on birth rate. The link is in the comment below. It talks about how this birth rate is collapsing globally and how robots in future will be used as a potential answer to this problem. Back to the video. So every number confirms this marriage collapse. But the question here is why? Why is it happening? And most of you will guess it, that the answer is money. And the people who say that are not wrong. They are just not seeing the whole picture. Before I show you why money is only part of it, I want you to meet someone. Her name is Ria. She is 31, living in Mumbai, and she works in technology. She wanted to be married by 28 and she still wants it. But every year, something has been in her way. And I thought, what is it? And I came across 3 things. These are the 3 things that always broke her path. The same 3 things are breaking this path for generations across globe. The first part is the economics. Think about what marriage actually requires. Not the ceremony, but in fact a house, a stable income, and no crippling debt. In Mumbai, where Ria lives, a median home costs more than 14 years of median income. In Vancouver, that number is 12 years. And in Beijing, that number is 30 years. And to make things worse, the Chinese culture, it requires a man to own a property before they can marry. So the wedding comes after the apartment, and the apartment costs 30 years of income. Let's go back to Ria and understand what is the second issue that she was facing that delayed her marriage. And the answer to that is work. Well, work ate your life. In China, the work culture is at extreme. The 996 culture means you start your work at 9 a.m., you finish it at 9 p.m. for an entire 6 days in a week. This is not an exception. It is bare minimum to certain people, and it is expected from many. Let me show you something. A professor at CIBS, one of China's top business schools, that professor wrote last year about a young man he personally knows. He says that a man who works late every night, the same man is so worried about what overwork is doing to his body that not having kids seems like a responsible choice. That man is not really anti-marriage. He is just trying to protect a hypothetical child from a father who would never be at home. And Ria in Mumbai works until 10 p.m. most nights. The dates she schedules gets cancelled or rescheduled, and the friends who used to introduce her to people around her have moved to different cities or are busy with their lives. So work did not just take time, it took the social infrastructure through which people used to find each other. And when you work 70 hours a week, you do not need a dating app. You need a life. And let's come back to the third issue that Ria faces, the one that nobody is talking about. Well, for most part of human history, marriage was not a personal choice. It was more or less a social obligation. The community said when, and the temple or the churches said who. Research consistently finds that religious attendance is one of the strongest predictors of whether someone gets married or not. So this is more strong than any income, stronger than any housing cost, because religion did something that no government or no app has ever been able to replicate successfully. It told people that marriage was worth it, worth the sacrifice, worth showing up on the hard days. And let me show you something interesting. In Saitama Prefecture in Japan, they have been running a government matchmaking service since 2018. 20,000 people have signed up and only 458 marriages in 6 years. The temple it replaced produced generations of marriages. So, 3 external forces broke the path. Economics made it unaffordable. Work stole the time, and the institution that made marriage feel inevitable quietly disappeared. But I wanted to be honest about what actually is happening here, because the polite story is that these forces did this to us. And that is not the whole truth still. Well, we built a world where women could earn their own money, where nobody's family chooses their partner, where no temple told them that they were incomplete, where the social cost of staying single dropped to zero. So every one of these things was a good thing, a freedom. But freedom is not free. It costs to participate. The more optional something becomes, the fewer people do it. But here's the part that genuinely disturbed me. Something else is also breaking. Something between two people who have to say yes for the marriage to happen. 31% in 2019 and 48% in 2023. Within 4 years, 17 percentage points. That is how many American women said that marriage was not important for a fulfilling life. This is not a gradual shift. This is a rupture. And I kept asking one question. What specifically changed in these 4 years? Well, in February 2025, economists at Cornell published a working paper called Bachelors Without Bachelors. And what I found interesting in this paper was that it reframed the entire investigation. It is not just that women are earning more. It is also that men without college degrees are earning less. In real simple terms and adjusted to inflation, this basically means men who do not have college degrees, their wages at age of 45 have fallen over 50 years. Not stagnated, fallen. So the pool of men who meet the basic economic criteria that women have historically looked for in a partner has been quietly shrinking for the last half of a century. And women noticed it, not as a political decision. They just did the maths, and the numbers did not work. When I look at the jump from 31% to 48% in 4 years, I do not see any ideological movement. I see that women are responding rationally to a labor market that changed while the expectations of marriage remain the same. The traditional model assumed a man who earns more will marry a woman who earns less. Now, this model is reversed in most of the developed countries. And nobody redesigned marriage to account for it. So if we go back to the story of Ria, in India, where a daughter-in-law's role is still often defined by her husband's family, where divorce stigma follows for the life, educated women with careers are asking a question their mothers were never allowed to ask. What do I actually get out of this? Ria is not making a political statement here. She is doing maths. She has the income, the apartment, the career, and the social freedom that marriage used to provide. The economic case her mother made for it no longer is valid. Which brings me to the part I cannot fully make sense. So after accounting all of this, let's say all of this is sorted and you find someone with college degree, earns the same or more than you, or whatever is your criteria, let's say it matches. Still, the number one reason people give for being single across every country today is still not income level, it is not money, it is not housing or the labor market. They say that it is hard to find the right person. Even people who could afford marriage, even people who believe in it, cannot find their way into it. And this part really bothered me. So, think about what a dating app actually is. It is an infinite catalog of potential partners in your pocket. So every moment of every day, every generation before us had a pool of people that they can select their potential partner. And it was few dozen people, right? People from community, people from work, people from school, or friends of friends. That's about it. Our world is theoretically everyone. And that sounds like a miracle, but it is not. Let me prove it to you. A Colombian psychologist named Sheena ran an experiment with an actual speed daters. She gave one group 8 potential partners to choose from and another group more than 20. Now, the group with 20 options selected fewer matches than the group with 8. Same people, same rules. The only thing that changed is the size of the menu. More choices do not mean better choice. More choice means choice paralysis. On a dating app, there is always a next one. The human brain is always confused in this. It offers infinite options and always wonders if the next one is better. And nobody has really designed a solution for this. Social media showed everyone only the highlights of the reels, the proposals, the anniversary, the perfect photos. It never shows the midnight arguments or the boring Tuesdays or the quiet work of building a life with someone together. So, real people with real flaws start to feel like settling, not because they are, because the comparison is rigged. And the number one reason people give for being single keeps getting worse, not better, as the apps keep on getting more powerful, all at once. And the weight of it does not fall on everyone equally, because marriage did not collapse equally. If you think about it, the wealthiest, that is the 20% in Americas or perhaps in different parts of the world, their marriage rate has remained essentially unchanged since the 1980s. This collapse is mostly in the working class, from 60% to 38%. Marriage did not become unpopular, it became a privilege. This is not an irony, this is a trap. Back to Ria one last time, and back to where we started. Ria did not choose singlehood, she did not reject marriage, and she kept saying not yet. Not yet until the job is stable. Not yet until the apartment is affordable. And not yet until the debt is cleared. This not yet timing essentially became someday. And then this someday became never. Okay, I went into this whole process thinking the answer of why marriages are collapsing is going to be simple, and it is not. But it is also not complicated in the way we pretend it is. Why is marriage collapsing globally? Because we built a world where freedom got cheaper and commitment became more expensive. And we never accounted for what that was going to do to a generation that wanted both. And 69% of the people this is happening to still want this. The desire is intact. What broke is the path. And it broke so quietly, so gradually, that by the time everyone looked up, millions of people had already stopped waiting and started living their life that they never chose. Something is not right. Not just economically, not just culturally. We made a trade nobody voted on. We got more freedom than any generation in history, and we lost something we did not know was attached to it. And we never named it until now.